Okay, back at the shop. Been here all night. Got my new ride. Got several things going on this morning. After I got the new ride home, I needed to check it out. I couldn't just go back to work on the boat. So I climbed under it and greased it and seen what I needed to see. And well, right now you can see I have a coolant leak. And the first thing I noticed when I was down there was that the coolant. And there's the coolant leak, and that is a radiator that's leaking, I think. And so before this becomes a dependable car, I'm going to put a new radiator in it. Well, actually, I'm going to take it all the way apart and see where the leak's actually at, but I'm pretty sure it's on the right end of the radiator, so I'm going to stick my bucket back under there. Am I going to lose my mind over that little drip right this second? Nope, I got other things to do. That is, the way I buy a used car is always the same. I buy it, go through it, figure out what it needs, put it in the garage, put it up on the jack stands, and work on it all winter until I'm happy with it, and then I take it back out. Is that going in that garage over at the house? No, probably not, because it's too... That'll be... The battery didn't work right off the bat the way I thought it should. I wasn't sure if it was a battery or a starter dragging. All I know is this morning it started right up, and I've been driving it all day, so it might have just been a battery needing charged. I understood they didn't drive it very much. I kept it in a storage shed out back kind of thing. So that being said, it needs tires. Front brakes will need to be changed. The rotors will need to be changed. Just basic maintenance and upkeep. It's not a new car, but it's certainly nicer than that, and I like driving it real well. But somewhere along the line, I'll probably change the front seat and put new tires on it and fix my coolant leak and correct any starting issue that it may or may not have, and enjoy the heck out of that thing, because that's a pretty nice car. It's got 2 tires on the front that are pretty good, 2 tires on the back that aren't good, and I usually think that either is caused by some kid hot rodding it, or those tires may have been on the front, and it might have been some issue up front at some point. I don't think so. I think it's just some kid spinning the tires, or yeah, that would make sense, because the nephew had it last, and I met the nephew yesterday, and he is he's a young man. Burnouts in this thing, but for me, it seems to be a pretty nice upgrade. That being said, where am I at this morning? Last time I was here, I worked to get that air compressor to run, believing that if I had to rebuild the carburetor, I would. This morning, and I didn't have as much trouble getting it to run. This morning, it's got something going on in the carburetor, float sticking, something. So I'm back to the idea that I'm going to have to rebuild that carburetor and probably change the starter solenoid on that if I want to depend on it. But I thought I was going to fire it up and finish this beast off so I could paint it right now. Since that didn't happen, I looked at it and I thought, well, you know what? I could take it down to the car wash and hose it out, which is exactly what I did. And I'm getting ready to jump all over this thing, and I see things that I need to put more attention to it before I go worrying about painting it. And I'll tell you, the number one is I filled this full of styrofoam. I mean, not styrofoam, but foam rubber. And I did that so I wouldn't damage the bearing areas that are down in there. And I just now saw it. I got it out of the sandblaster and cleaned it up and was looking it over and realized that I really need to put more foam down in there where the bearing surfaces are and go crazy on the inside of this with the sandblaster before I attempt to paint anything. Go back to cleaning up. I also have some rubber right here that is from the compound. I got some grease in here, so if I were to try to zinc chromate any of those areas, like right here, this right here is a bearing surface. I would fill this with or at least clean it up and zinc chromate down in here. I might put some tape over the actual gasket surface and then zinc chromate around it. But in either case, I'm not quite ready to jump on this yet, and I need my sandblaster to do it. And don't have a sandblaster because my air compressor's broke. So I'm going to put that on hold. I accomplished something when I bought that home, but I got a major job of fiberglassing on this thing. Whether that outdrive gets ready right this second or not is irrelevant. That is a work in progress, and I am a little tired. Yesterday. Don't have any U-joints out. That's good. Tie rods and ball joints currently look good, but I haven't inspected it fully. When I say that, I mean I need somebody here to wiggle the steering wheel to really see if there's any play in any of that stuff. But pushing, tugging, and prying did not rear any red flags yet. I did all that on this thing and took it to the shop to have the front end aligned. I've been all through that thing. There's no way there's a ball joint out. They said, go back here and look at it. And I went back there and I was like, how did I miss this? And what they said was that the ball joint had pressure on it from the weight sitting on it, and it stuck in the up position, but when they put it on the lift, it dropped out of that up position. It showed the play at that point. I had never heard that ever. But sometimes I can miss things. So that being said, currently I don't see any reason not to believe in this thing. As far as front end parts, I don't think I'm looking at Pitman arms and steering boxes. I might be looking at a power steering hose, which could easily on hold. As far as a super dependable car going cross country kind of stuff, I wouldn't have any problem running it from here to Grand Forks and back. It's 10 miles down there and back. But I'm not going to in the family dependable vehicle yet. I got some work to do on that. But I am running out of weather. This is August 6th, I think. Yesterday I'm pretty sure was August 5th. And as much as I wanted to actually have a lot of this fiberglass resin stuff done and ready to go, and I wish this camera would stop stopping. With that being said, what I'm gonna do today, for the rest of the day, is prep the wood that's out there on it. Not worried about acetoning it until right before I put it in. But I'm going to sand it and have it ready. I wish the camera would stop stopping. Then I'm going to work inside this hole. And I'm probably going to do that first until my body says I've had enough of sitting down in that hole and I need to stand up, and then I'm going to switch back over to the wood. And however far that gets today, I will be able to pat myself on the back and say, you're one step closer to putting this thing back together. And that's as far as I'm going today. I'm not going to try to peanut butter anything. I'm not going to try to put the transom together in any way. I think I need to be focused on that from the start, instead of trying to do it at the end of the day after doing a lot of other stuff. And since I didn't get this prepped yesterday, I'm not going to attempt to do any of that today. All I'm going to do is prep it, and that's it. And that's good enough for today. Have a good day.